December 1st, 1948. Somerton Beach, Adelaide, Australia. A man lies motionless against a seawall, dressed impeccably in a suit and tie. Beachgoers assume he's drunk or sleeping, but when police arrive, they discover something far more sinister. The man is dead. No identification, no wallet, no labels on his clothing, cut out deliberately. And in his pocket, a scrap of paper with two cryptic words. Tamám Shud. This is the story of the Somerton Man, the mystery that refuses to die. Our story begins on a warm summer evening in Adelaide, South Australia. On the night of November 30th, 1948, witnesses reported seeing a well-dressed man lying near the crippled children's home on Somerton Beach. He appeared to be resting, one arm raised as if holding something. No one thought much of it. The next morning, December 1st, beachgoers noticed he hadn't moved. Police were called at 6:30 a.m. The man was dead. He appeared to be in his early 40s, approximately 5'11", with hazel eyes, gray-brown hair, and an athletic build. He wore an expensive white shirt, a red and blue tie, brown trousers, and polished shoes. Everything about him suggested sophistication, except for one glaring detail. Every identifying label had been meticulously removed from his clothing. Police found no wallet, no identification, and no money except for an unused train ticket from Adelaide to Henley Beach. In one pocket, they discovered a bus ticket, a pack of chewing gum, cigarettes, but the most peculiar item was a half-smoked cigarette tucked behind his ear. A man who appeared to be settling in for arrest, yet died mysteriously without a struggle. An autopsy was performed. The medical examiner noted unusual findings. The man's stomach and organs showed signs of poisoning, possibly from a toxic substance. Yet, no poison could be identified. His spleen was enlarged to 3 times its normal size. But the cause of death? Listed only as heart failure due to unknown causes. With no identification, police issued a public appeal. They published photos of the dead man, hoping someone would recognize him. No one did. But then something strange happened. In mid-January 1949, 6 weeks after the body was found, railway staff at Adelaide station discovered an unclaimed brown suitcase. Inside were more clues, yet somehow even more mystery. The suitcase contained clothing, all with labels removed. There was a screwdriver, scissors, a stenciling brush, and a knife. Tools that suggested tradecraft, not tourism. Some items had the name T. Keen or Keen marked on them, but police could never trace anyone by that name. Was it an alias? A red herring? But the most bizarre discovery came months earlier, buried in the investigation files. In April 1949, a reporter revisited the case and discovered something police had missed. A tiny rolled-up scrap of paper hidden in a secret pocket sewn into the dead man's trousers. When unfolded, it revealed 2 words torn from a book. Tamám Shud. Investigators traced the phrase to the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a collection of Persian poetry. The words, translated from Persian, mean ended or finished. They appear on the final page of the book. It was as if the man carried his own epitaph. Police launched a public search for the book the page was torn from, and incredibly, someone came forward. A man reported finding a rare first edition of the Rubaiyat tossed into his car near Somerton Beach around the time of the death. Inside the book's back cover were 5 lines of letters, an apparent code. Beneath the code was a phone number, a local Adelaide number. It belonged to a woman named Jessica Thompson, a nurse living nearby. When questioned, she glanced at the plaster cast of the dead man's face and claimed she didn't recognize him. But witnesses said she looked shaken, even terrified. Jessica Thompson never revealed what she knew. The code has never been cracked. With no identification, a mysterious code, and a nurse who refused to talk, theories exploded. The most popular, the Somerton Man, was a spy. This was 1948, the dawn of the Cold War. Australia was a strategic location for intelligence operations. Some believed the man was a Soviet agent poisoned after a mission went wrong. Others thought he was British intelligence caught in a covert operation. The removed clothing labels, the cryptic code, the exotic poison, all hallmarks of espionage tradecraft. But there were other theories. Some suggested the man was a jilted lover, perhaps involved in a forbidden romance with Jessica Thompson. The Rubaiyat is, after all, a collection of love poetry. Did he take his own life in despair, or was he silenced to protect a secret? Others pointed to the items in his suitcase, the stenciling tools, and speculated he was a craftsman or forger. Could he have been involved in document fraud or black market dealings? Then there were the medical anomalies. The man's teeth showed unusual wear, suggesting he may have been a professional athlete or someone who used his mouth extensively, perhaps a wind instrument player or a tradesman. His calf muscles were unusually well developed, indicating a background in dancing or ballet. And what about the code? Cryptographers from around the world have tried to break it. Some believe it's a one-time pad cipher used by intelligence agencies. Others think it's not a code at all, just random letters, a hoax or a personal shorthand. The police pursued every lead. They checked dental records, contacted international agencies, and interviewed hundreds of people. No one could identify him. His fingerprints matched no records. His face matched no missing persons report. Jessica Thompson maintained her silence until her death in 2007. Her daughter later hinted that her mother knew more than she let on, but whatever secrets she held, she took them to the grave. For decades, the case went cold. The Somerton Man was buried in Adelaide's West Terrace Cemetery in 1949, labeled only as the Unknown Man. His death certificate remained blank, his gravestone a mystery. But in the 21st century, technology offered new hope. In 2009, Professor Derek Abbott from the University of Adelaide launched a campaign to exhume the body for DNA testing. For years, Australian authorities denied the request, citing ethical and legal concerns. Then, in 2021, South Australia's Attorney General finally approved the exhumation. In May 2021, forensic teams carefully removed the remains. Hair samples were sent to labs in the United States for cutting-edge DNA analysis and genealogical testing, the same techniques used to catch the Golden State Killer. And in July 2022, 74 years after his death, a breakthrough. Professor Derek Abbott, working with forensic genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick, announced a conclusion. The Somerton Man was likely Carl or Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker from Melbourne, born in 1905. The identification was made using DNA phenotyping and genealogical databases. Webb had been married, but separated from his wife. He had no close family, which explained why no one reported him missing. He fit the age, the build, and the timeline. But was this the final answer? Some experts remain skeptical. The DNA evidence, while compelling, is not definitive enough for a legal identification. South Australian police have not officially closed the case, and many questions remain unanswered. Why was he in Adelaide? Why were his labels removed? What did the code mean? And what role, if any, did Jessica Thompson play? The story of the Somerton Man has captivated the world for over 70 years. It's been the subject of books, documentaries, and countless theories. It represents one of the most enduring forensic mysteries in history. But beyond the intrigue, it reveals something profound about identity, memory, and the limits of investigation. In an age where we are tracked, documented, and digitized at every turn, the Somerton Man reminds us that anonymity, intentional or accidental, is still possible. If Carl Webb is indeed the Somerton Man, his story becomes even more tragic. A man of skill and intellect, separated from his family, ending his days alone on a beach, his identity erased, his purpose unknown. Or perhaps the mystery runs deeper.